make the decision if we're bringing them in for second rounds within a day or two. So if they mailed me a note, it doesn't even get a chance to set them apart. But if they shot me an email, then it does. So know the process. If it's a process where they might be taking another week or two to interview more candidates, a note would probably be fine. But if they're going to already have made their decision and you really want to use that note to set yourself apart, then make the note an email. That's my thought. There are still definitely some people who are really into notes and just think that they're like the best thing in the world. So you just never know when you're going to get somebody like that. But I don't think anyone ever takes offense to an email and thinking it's, you know, not personal enough. So
there's a saying that the interview's never over until you nail the email, or nail the thank you, or email it, either way. But that it's always at least the last step, and it makes a difference. I've been in jobs where that, or interview processes where I've gotten a job and I was the only one who had sent them the thank you note. And you know, it wasn't necessarily the deciding factor, but there's a series of small things that help set you apart. And a thank you note can show appreciation and thoughtfulness, which are traits that you want to have in people that you work with.
Show, don't tell. Show that you're thoughtful. Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of confused because after you were interviewed, what kind of topics that are you going to talk about in your email later on to them?
Yeah. Just say, thank you for the interview. It was great to meet you and talk with you about the position. I really liked what I heard and feel I would be a great fit.
Yeah. You can make it very generic just like that. You know, I really feel after learning more from you that I would fit well with the culture. It seems to be, you know, a really driven company, and I think that that would keep me very interested and always wanting to achieve higher goals if I were to work for you. You know, something generic. Or you might get in an interview and you really connect with the interviewer, and next thing you know, you are talking about vacation spots or something, and maybe you email them about that. You know, same generic part, and then say, I also loved learning about your vacation to the Caribbean. I can't wait to use some of the, you know, the great suggestions you gave me when I go in a few months or something like that. You know, so make it personal, and then you kind of bring that back to the top of their mind, like, oh yeah, that was fun talking to them about that. So kind of depends on how the interview went.
Good question. And be prompt. You're good. Okay, in conclusion, do your research, whether you're going into a networking situation, or you're writing a resume, or you have an interview. Do your research is always very important. Apply accordingly, know the process, know where you're applying to, public, private, government, and then stay positive. Stay positive through the whole thing. There are a lot of jobs out there just right for you guys. So, are there any other questions? How are we on time? How are we on time?
We're good.
Okay.
So, I'd say after the PowerPoint thing, you probably have a chance for people to kind of talk to individuals.
Okay.
So.
I did prepare some slides on the CPA exam and what it is. Does anybody want to hear a little bit about it? A couple? Okay, we'll just go briefly through them. We'll fly through. If you guys have specific questions, let me know. But, because we are a CPA review course, so it's coming up. So there are 4 parts, and this will be a good overview for those, you know, down the road going into it, what it is. So there are 4 parts to the CPA exam: auditing, financial regulation, and BEC, totaling your 14-hour fun-filled experience. Woohoo! You're like, okay, I'm changing careers. No. Don't worry, you have 18 months to complete it. So what that means, you can take them all separately. You study for a part, and then you take a part. You study for a part, take a part. Once you pass your first part, you then have 18 months to pass the rest. So you don't have to do it all at once. It's not, you know, it used to be over a 2.5-day period, and, you know, it's crazy, so you're good. Auditing is where, you know, what Brittany was talking about. You're going to see standards, planning, internal controls. Financial is intermediate 1, 2, cost accounting, or not cost accounting, but government, non-for-profit. Regulation is tax, and BEC stands for business, environment, and concepts, which is where you're going to see cost accounting, financial management, information technology, and economics.
I took BEC and audit right after graduating, and it was great. BEC is a lot like your econ courses, your financial management courses, cost accounting, all the stuff it says. but it helped me immensely to just finish those courses. And then same with audit. I had just finished an audit class. And so if you are thinking of taking the exam while you're in school, those might be two that might be okay to take. Audit actually used to be shorter though when I took it. It was audit and BEC were the two smaller sections, so it also made it easier for me to take right after graduating.
Yeah, they just switched substantially in January of 2011. They added IFRS, they switched the timing, the format, so this is all the new stuff. Here's how it's scored. Financial auditing and regulation are all 60% multiple choice, 40% TDS, which stands for task-based simulations. They're just small simulations with, 5 or 6 multiple choice questions, or where you'll fill out a spreadsheet, different things like that. And then BEC is 85% multiple choice and 50% written communication. On this, they want to see if you can write a memo, have a beginning, a middle, an end. Again, check your spelling. But on this new exam, they have a spell checker. Yay! We still don't have to learn how to spell. Love it. But there's no grammar check, so be sure to check that. Testing windows. When can you sit for the exam? Basically, the year is split up into 4 quarters: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and so on and so forth. The first 2 months of the quarter, you can sit for the CPA exam 6 days a week. Excuse me, they have Prometric testing centers all over the U.S. The 3rd month is called a blackout month. This is when you cannot sit for the CPA exam. It's a great time to study for the next part. They're getting your scores back to you during this time. So.
And the reasoning that they do this is that it used to be, as Katie said, a 2-day course. So, and they would be offered twice a year. So you would sit, and they would grade everybody, and if there's a certain amount of test questions that everyone missed, they would throw it out. So somewhat of a curve, sort of, not really a curve necessarily, but they would basically see if any of their test questions weren't fair, and they would throw those out, but they can only do that if they had a block of tests. So now they've created these test windows. So January, February, people will take it, they grade those tests in March to be able to do the same thing. So that's really the point behind that.
Good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing. I know there are a couple of questions, and they'll tell you afterwards, this question was thrown out, and this question was thrown out. So I'm like, I hated that question.
People want to do that on my midterms.
Yeah. To sit for the CPA exam in Washington, you need, you guys are quarters, so 225 quarter units total, including 36 in accounting and 36 in business. So if you are a transfer student, you'll transfer to a 4-year university, and then you'll either take a 5th year, or you'll take get a master's degree, and that's how you can satisfy those credits. Or maybe you transferred from, you're an international student and you have university credits and transferred here, those do count, but there's a system to transfer them, so you'll have to look into that a little bit more. It's on the Washington State Board of Accountancy website, has all this information and lots of detail on there. Sounds like you've looked it up. Yeah. Yeah, and if you need additional units, Rogers CPA reviews actually offered through Golden Gate University for 6 master level accounting credits. How to apply? You apply to the Washington State Board of Accountancy. You pay your fees. These are the exam fees, which they actually lowered it $40 a couple weeks ago, so that's good because they never usually lower their fees. Then the Board of Accountancy submits your approved application to NASBA. NASBA then collects payment and issues you what's called your NTS, or your notice to schedule, which is a little piece of paper that says, yes, this person is approved, they've paid their fees, they can now go schedule their exams. There it is. The notice to schedule, however, is only good for 6 months. So when you're applying for the CPA exam, you want to make sure to only pay for the fees, these fees, of the exams you're going to take in 6 months. So if you take 2, you're just going to take audit and financial, only pay for 2. If you plan on taking all 4, pay for all 4, but if you pay for all 4 and only take 2, you lose those other fees and have to pay for them again. So, and it's easier if you have more time to just reopen that application and pay for them at that point. Then, to get your license, you need to pass all 4 parts of the CPA exam. How many of you are planning on getting your CPA? Come on, CPA. Maybe, no? No? Why not?
Because I'm afraid to be overeducated.
No, you can't be overeducated. Just like, I just saw that 14 hours, and I was like, forget that. So you did pass all 4 parts of the CPA exam, complete an approved ethics exam with at least a 90% is what you're saying. You deal with a lot of client issues, proprietary information, so they want to make sure that you're an ethical person. Pay a $330 application and submit your experience affidavit. And your experience must consist of a minimum of 2,000 hours. And you can get this now. You can do it before, during, after the CPA exam. It can be full-time, part-time, paid, unpaid, an internship, as long as it's under the direct supervision of a licensed CPA. And they say, yes, this work goes towards your CPA license. So if you have questions about that, let me know. All right. And just to let you know, the AICPA recommends that you guys study between 300 to 400 hours for this exam. So that's what they say, the average successful candidate. So when you break it down, financially, you're going to spend about 33 hours in class, 132 hours out of class time. But BEC is a lot better with about 76 hours total. So be prepared for that. The next couple of slides are about router CPA review. But since a lot of you aren't quite there yet, for those of you who are, I have some information up here. So I won't go through because we're good. Unless any of you guys have specific questions. So thank you.
So thank you very much for coming to our event tonight. I would like to thank you, Katie and Brittany, for taking the time to share your knowledge and experience with us. Most of the information that we have received tonight will be very useful after we finish our education phase and move on to work. Thank you for joining our event, and we also have pictures for this event up on Facebook. Please feel free to check it out and look forward to see you again next quarter. Thank you.